Alright guys, this is the probably one of the coolest projects I'm about to do in my mind, and it's the last major project on the 99 3000 GT Supercharged, is doing an all-wheel drive conversion. I've been planning this for a long time now. I've been acquiring parts for over a year and a half. I've got the entire drivetrain out of a 93 VR4, which is the 5-speed. And then I have a 2-piece carbon fiber drive shaft. So I'm hoping to have this done in about maybe a 4 or 5 part series. What I'm working on today is the K-frame and control arms. I'm going to be building some stainless steel control arms. So all the components on this was pretty rusty. Stripped this all down, had to cut bolts and everything to get it all tore apart. I've cut all of the all-wheel drive brackets off of it. Not all-wheel drive, all-wheel steering brackets, because this will just be solely an all-wheel drive. It won't be an all-wheel steering. You can see there's a lot of rust pitting and whatnot that was on this. I took a can of Rust-Oleum, not spray can, but the actual cans you can buy, and I poured it in all the holes and all the openings. I spun this thing around and basically coated the whole inside of it, and then I sandblasted it a couple weeks ago. I painted it. I used self-etching primer on it, and then I painted it with this Rust-Oleum Farm Implement Low Gloss Black, which is supposed to be a heavy-duty weather resistant. So this is pretty much ready to go. A couple other things. One other thing really is, since I'm doing Heim joints and adjustable ball joints, is I took washers, 5/8 inch washers, and welded them over the slots. These used to be slotted, where all the, these would be adjusted by Heim joint. And then what I'm doing right now is I'm going to be filling these in with window urethane. I've ripped all the old rubber out, as you can see. This is still sitting in the factory position, but I'm going to be filling this up with the black window urethane. The top ones don't look bad. I'll probably just smear some around there just for good measure, but I'm working on this guy over here now. You know, you can see just all the rubbers wrinkled up in them, and that's what I'm ripping out, is all this old stuff. And then going to be squirting some window urethane in there. So I'm going to pull this out, then I'll bring you back when I start filling them back in. So that's kind of what they're looking like. I'm just packing them full, smearing my finger around and making sure that there's no voids in there. And then when this stuff cures, that's going to be a solid, pretty solid bushing mount. Let me flip it over and get some on the other side. So this is what I'm using, just an auto glass polyurethane adhesive, and then just taking it. You can already see down in there where the other's kind of blobbed from the other side, and then I'm just taking it and globbing it in there real good. And the nice thing is since it's black on black, is I don't have to worry about masking it off and making it look pretty or anything like that, because this is only, it's going to serve a functional purpose, not a beauty purpose, because you'll never see it once it's finally mounted on the car. So I just get a bunch of it globbed on there like that, and then just taking my finger and smashing it down in there, smearing it around, taking any excess, filling in any holes that might be there. So it's a sloppy job. Definitely recommend wearing gloves. So you can see I actually got 2 layers on, so when I get done I can take the extra one off. So let me go ahead and get this one done, the other side. I think that'll be all we're going to do on this today, and then I'm going to switch over and start working on these control arms. Show you what I got going on there. So here is the upper control arm. This is 304 stainless 1-inch schedule 40 pipe, which the ID is slightly, I mean just barely larger than the Heim joint or four-linked, I don't even know what you call them things, bar ends go into. So this one is completed. That's laying next to the old crusty one that was on the car. Getting ready to build another one right now. Which, as you can see, the rough shape that the stainless is, it's just straight up pipe. And then what I'm doing is I'm sticking these in there. These bar ends are 1 inch. They go into a 3/4. I think it's a 3/4 by 16 thread. This is the 4-link end. What I'm using on this one right on the ball joint end is a tie rod end off of, it fits a 1965 Ford F350. I'm sure there are a ton of them that are this size, but it's got the same size thread pitch on the ball joint end, and it's got the same taper on it. But so what I'm doing on these is I'm sticking this in here. I'm plug welding it in 4 different locations, and then I'm doing a weld just to basically fill in this gap between here and the end of the pipe, and then I'm grinding it all down and hitting it with a flap wheel. It's not going to be perfect. You know, again, these aren't show pieces, but the nice thing about them being stainless steel is I never have to worry about them rusting. I'm doing my welding with my Yes Welder Flux 135 Pro, and it's loaded up with Yes Welder Flux stainless steel wire. So I'm actually welding this with stainless steel wire. Little thing on welding, I had to make the gun electrode positive and the clamp is negative. Normally when you're flux core welding, the clamp is positive and the gun is negative. I did some practicing on this piece here. Had some real terrible welds there until I realized I had to switch it over. Started to get a little better there. Had me, you know, this guy here is probably one of my better welds, but this welder's turned up all the way. I mean, it's putting heat all the way through. This is 1/4 inch thick. I'm just using it to lay the piece of pipe in so it doesn't roll. And then I got my welder set up on 400, I think that's inches a minute. And then I've got it +3 on the voltage. You can fine tune the voltage, but I got it +3. So basically I got this little welder wide open, because welding stainless steel wire needs a lot more heat and a lot more amperage. But let me get this end in there, and then we'll shoot some welds, and then I'll kind of show you how I'm cleaning it up. Alright, we're gonna see if I can film this weld. I've never tried to film a weld before, so it's gonna be interesting, but let's see what happens. Let's see, I got her lined up there. Huh. Didn't turn out too bad. Now let's see if we can run a little line down through. I actually have the my phone laying inside my welding hood, so I'm trying to watch this real time. It's a little globby looking. Probably won't do that anymore. I'll probably just weld it up and then show you guys what it looks like when I'm done. That way I don't have to do too much more cleanup. So here's a better look at what the pipe looked like originally, and then what it looks like when it's going to be finished. You can see the edge of the weld line. Like I said, I'm not a welder, I'm not perfect. And these aren't for aesthetics. You know, if they were, I would be taking them somewhere and having them TIG welded, but for the purpose of this, they're going to be structurally sound. I'm using a 80 grit flap wheel on a bench grinder is what I'm doing to kind of buff these out a little bit. And then flipping it over here, this is what it looked like when I ground all the welds down, just using a flap disc on an angle grinder. And then when I get done, it's going to look like this. Like I said, I can grind that down more to get rid of that edge of that weld line right there, but I don't want to take away too much of the structural strength of this. So the last thing I will do is kind of explain the using a left and a right hand thread on these. So when you buy these bar ends, if they got a groove cut in them here, they're a left hand thread. If they're smooth like that one, they're a right hand thread. And the purpose of that is so you can basically just spin this bar one direction and it'll either get longer or shorter, and that's how we're going to get the alignment done on this one. When I do the lower control arms, I got some smaller heim joints I'm going to stick in there for the sway bar link. You'll see those on the next video. I don't want to bore you guys anymore with this construction phase, but I have those will be done today, and then coming back out here, show you the aftermath of the poly bushings or the window urethane that I put in there. Again, like I said, these aren't going to be for aesthetics, but they'll serve the purpose. Just sitting out here in the sunshine, letting them harden up. So again, this will send off part 1 of the all-wheel drive conversion on the 3000 GT. Look forward to seeing you guys on part 2. We'll catch you later.